You've found your next RV and you've negotiated a great price. But don't sign those finance papers till you watch this episode of Travels with Delaney. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Patrick. Over the years, we have bought several RVs, and most of them we have had to finance. And I thought this was a great time to talk about how to finance your RV and some of the issues you may have long term, depending on how you go about actually financing that RV. Now, just to give you a little background, besides purchasing a lot of RVs myself, I do teach business and finance at our local community college and have been doing that for over 20 years. So I have a basic understanding of how financing works, interest rates, loan links, things like that. And I just really kind of wanted to share some of that information with you before you go and sign papers on your next RV. Because one of the things I hate seeing people end up doing is taking out a loan on an RV and then it's some point down the road deciding, you know what, maybe this RV is not right for us, we ought to trade it in, or maybe things have changed in our lives and we just want to sell it. And then when they go to either trade or sell, they find out that they owe way more on their RV than it's actually worth. And then they can't understand how that could possibly be. Well, RVs are no different than cars. The minute you drive them off the lot, they begin to depreciate at a fairly fast rate. Now, some RVs will hold their value better than others. For example, an Airstream will hold its value at a higher rate than, let's say, a Jayco. That's just a fact. But they're all going to lose some value the minute you buy and take that RV home. So let's get into how do you know what it's going to cost you long term and where will you be at if you decide you want to get out of that RV at some point in the future. So what I typically like to do is start by looking up the value on NADA.com. Now, most of us think of NADA for car values, but if you go to their website, you can actually pull up RV values. So when you're on the site, you just click on RVs, and what that will do is actually take you to their RV site. Now, I've already pulled up a RV value just to kind of use as a demonstration for this video. Let's say that back in 2017, I bought a Keystone Cougar fifth wheel. And I bought the model 326 RDS. Now, once I find my RV in NADA, it is going to bring up what the original suggested list price was for that RV. That's going to be that MSRP. It's also going to give us today's value, what we might pay for it on the low end at a dealership, and what the average asking price at a dealership might be. Now, you might say, well, why are you going back if it's 2020? Well, let's assume it's 2020 and I want to trade that RV in. I want to know roughly what it's going to be worth. So we know based upon NADA that it looks like dealerships are probably going to try to sell my used Cougar fifth wheel for somewhere between $33,000 and $39,000. Now, if you don't think those prices are accurate, then what I would recommend is jumping over to RVtrader.com and searching for that specific model of RV that you're talking about and see what they're currently selling for. So I've already done that here on the screen. I plugged in the exact year and model, and I actually found 4 that are currently for sale over on RV Trader. And notice the list prices: $36,900, $37,900, $39,900, and then here's one at $34,900, and it says price drop $5,000. It's in like new condition. One owner. Wow. So they're going to sell that, or they're at least drop the price to almost $35,000. It says it's in excellent shape and it has one owner. So you might be thinking, okay, so what does this tell me? Well, if dealers or even individuals are asking that much for their trailers, then when you go to trade it in, you're not going to be able to get that much. Most dealerships are going to want to make a minimum amount on each trailer. And I've seen that number vary from dealership to dealership. I've known one dealership that was thrilled if they could make somewhere between $500 and $1,000 on a used trailer. I've known others that are looking at, they want to make $5,000 on an RV this size. So let's just assume that it's somewhere in the middle. If the low end, we're going to click back here to the NADA, if the low end is 32.6, you would be lucky to get $30,000 on trade for your RV. Now, if you want to sell it outright, you might be able to get a little bit more. But remember the issues of selling things yourself. You're going to have to pay to list it. You're going to have time. People are going to have to be able to come and see it, or you're going to have to make videos for them. But let's just assume you do what so many people do, and that's just you just want to go to the dealer, trade it in, and get your brand new RV. So you at best may only get $30,000 for this RV. And my guess is on something like this, you might be lucky to get $27,000. Now, a lot of times when you're on NADA, they'll allow you to put in options. Here's what I can tell you. Don't even mess with putting in options. It doesn't matter how many options you put on that trailer. The majority of those options mean absolutely nothing to dealers when it comes to buying your RV on trade and then turning around and selling it. Normally, they just look at the base value, and that's what it is. I see so many times where people say, yeah, but Patrick, I've got slide toppers on my RV, or Patrick, I added a fantastic fan. And you know what? That's going to be great for the next owner, but when it comes to actually getting your money back out of those things, usually it doesn't help a whole lot. All right. So let's just assume we could get at best $30,000 for our trailer. Now we're going to need to make some other assumptions. This trailer originally had an MSRP of $64,354, and as you know, we never pay MSRP on RVs. Typically, you're going to get those somewhere between 70 and 80% of that, and if you're lucky, you might get even a little bit better deal. If we do 30% off on this, it's going to put us in about the $42,000 range. But let's assume, just to keep this simple, that we got an amazing deal on this fifth wheel back in 2017. And with everything included, taxes and any added charges, let's say we financed $40,000 on this trailer. Now, that would be an amazing deal. And so we're going to go over to a simple loan calculator. And if you just go to bankrate.com, they have free calculators there that you can utilize to figure out a loan. So the first thing it's going to ask for is how much do you want to finance? So we're going to go ahead and type in $40,000. And then loan in terms of years. Now, I have found over the years that I could get loans ranging anywhere from, say 5 years up to 20 years on an RV. For some reason, they will really go out a long time on RVs versus what they will do on cars. And that's one of the reasons that when you go to an RV dealership or an RV show, you'll see those signs that say, you can own this RV for $198 a month. And you're like, how can I buy an RV that's that expensive for only $200 a month? And most likely it's because they're going to take you out the maximum amount of years that they possibly can to get that monthly payment low. I'm not sure I would ever go anywhere. No, I'll just tell you right now, I would never go 20 years on an RV. That's just me personally. But I want to show you how the number of years you go on your loan is really going to impact your payoff. So let's just start by going 15 years on this loan. I'm going to do it in some different increments for you just to show you the difference. So let's go ahead and type in 15 years, which is 180 months, and I'm going to do a really conservative interest rate of 5%. Although I have found that RV interest rates tend to be a little higher than car rates, and seeing 7 or 8% on an RV is not uncommon. But I just want to make this as conservative as possible to show you kind of a best case scenario. All right, and then I'm going to hit calculate, and so we would have a monthly payment of $316.32. And you might say, you know what, to get that brand new fifth wheel, and probably back in 2017 when I bought it, it was my dream RV, I can afford $316 a month. And so maybe I go ahead and sign the paperwork on that. But what I want to do then is here on the loan calculator, I'm going to click where it says Show Amortization Schedule. And what that's going to do is show us our monthly payments over time and how much we actually owe on the loan. Now, it says start date. We're going to type in 2017, because again, remember, we're pretending we bought this 3 years ago. And let's go ahead and hit enter. That's going to change the dates. And now what I want to do is come down here to April of 2020, which is right now. And as I scroll across, you'll see that we still owe $34,200 on our loan. Remember I said, at best, we may be able to get $30,000 on trade. That means we're going to have to write a check for almost $5,000 to the dealer just to get them to take our RV. This is what's called being upside down on a loan. You owe more than what it's actually worth. And this is one of the pitfalls of financing long-term like this. So now I, as a buyer back in 2017, may look at a scenario like this and say, whoa, I want to have the option in 3 years to be able to get rid of this RV. What do I need to do? So I'm going to go back up, and we're going to change that loan term from 15 years down to 10 years. Now that's going to jump our payment up some, goes up to $424. But let's see what it does to the payoff. And we're going to come back down to April of 2020. Now notice we only owe $30,000 on that trailer. It's going to get us a lot closer to breaking even. Now, we're not going to necessarily have any equity, and we may still owe a little bit to get rid of it. But it gets us a lot closer by dropping that down. Maybe you take out a 7-year loan. Now we're getting into more of like a car type of loan, 7 years. Now that's going to jump that payment up significantly. Now you're up to $565 a month on financing $40,000. But let's see what it does to your payoff. And I think you're going to see a significant difference. Look right here, April 2020. Now you only owe $24,500. And when you go to trade in, guess what? You may actually have a few $1,000s in equity, which is going to help bring down the price on your next trailer. So when you finance, you really need to be careful to not let the dealerships talk you into these long-term loans, okay? Banks love long-term loans because it means you're going to be paying more interest. So when we finance this particular trailer that I'm sitting in, our New Camp Tab 400, the dealership, I only wanted to do a 5-year loan on it. The dealership told me we can't do that. No bank is going to loan you at a low interest rate on 5 years. And so I think they had to set us up on like a 7 or a 10-year loan, which I absolutely did not want to do, and I don't recommend doing it. But because we were on vacation and we were in a time crunch to get the deal done in Florida, I went ahead and did it that way. And I'm going to give you an alternative here in just a minute. But what we did immediately was we took the amount we financed and we divided it by, we did a 5-year payment just to see what it was. And that is the amount we automatically have withdrawn from our bank account every month. We never even send in the payment. So this trailer will be paid off here in about 2.5 years. The other nice thing with this trailer is we had paid cash for our prior trailer, and so everything that we did receive for it went in as equity. So we immediately started with equity in this trailer. And if we were to sell this trailer today, we would actually have very good equity in it. So ideally, the more money you can put down on your new trailer, the closer it's going to get you to being in a good position as far as what you owe on your trailer and what it is worth. But just understand, when you trade, you are not going to most likely get out of it what you paid for it unless you bought it used and just got an amazing deal. All right. I hope this helps you out and gives you a few things to think about. Now, I told you I was going to give you a tip as an alternative to using RV financing, and I would highly suggest before you go and buy an RV, talk to your local bank or credit union that you deal with. What we have found is many times we can call up our local credit union and get that short-term loan we want at a much lower interest rate. Plus, your local bank or credit union that you deal with most likely does not have any hidden fees that you may find with financing at RV dealerships. So that is definitely something to consider. And finally, be wary of those extended warranties. If you build an extended warranty into your financing, you are paying interest on that extended warranty and any accessories that you might add to the trailer that you also finance. Do you really want to be paying 5, 6, 7, 8% interest for 10 or 15 years on a Max Air fan cover or a slide out awning topper? Just a few things to consider as you purchase your new rig. All right, leave your comments or questions down below, and until next time, everybody, we'll see ya on down the road. Good night.